Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Anthony Yarde wins a 98-92 decision. The referee was the sole arbiter over the Latvian fighter RALFS VILCANS. Now, I'd never seen RALFS VILCANS before. I love Latvia. I love Riga, which is where VILCANS is based. It's a beautiful city, very small city, but really lovely. I love the Baltic states. I've been there, I think, 4 times in the last little bit more than a year. I can't stay away. They're brilliant countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, but they're not exactly hotbeds for boxing, are they? Let's be honest. And I hadn't seen RALFS VILCANS fight. He came in with 17 wins, with 7 KOs, 1 defeat. His defeat was for the WBO European super middleweight title, which was back in 2022. Beat a guy called Jacob Bank, beat him, who I've never seen Jacob Bank fight. Undefeated, though. And VILCANS came in with this extremely upright style. All right, almost reminiscent of the 70s European style, you know, orthodox, firing the jab, right hand, a lot of arm punches, placing the punches, really quite amateurish. But he had some ability. He had a good chin, and he had a good stamina, and he had a lot of heart, this VILCANS guy, okay? Now, in the first round, the first 10 seconds of the first round, VILCANS was on the floor because the first right hand that Yarde threw, VILCANS, obviously still asleep, banged him on the jaw, down he goes, gets up, more embarrassed than anything. The round is obviously a 10-8 for Yarde, and, you know, we're thinking it might be an early night for Yarde, but VILCANS from the second round onwards was trying to find some rhythm, and he was outworking Yarde. Look, Anthony Yarde had the heavier hands, clearly the better skills, clearly the better resume, and he did not use his skills. He did not use his physicality. He looked physically stronger than VILCANS as well. But that early knockdown in the first 10 seconds, I got the impression that Yarde thought, oh, this guy's easy, I'll just walk through him. And he neglected his skills, and he just walked forward trying to muscle the guy out of there. And VILCANS was able to meet him with a lot of guts, and he was outworking him. He was having the last say in the exchanges. And this continued throughout the fight. Now, whenever Yarde decided to jab and to use his skills, it was paying dividends for him. But so many of these rounds, he just walked after him, followed after him. And VILCANS was able to move, bang, he was banging to the body. You know, he was landing some great uppercuts on Yarde. He was thinking in there. He was trying to win. And he clearly, he was outworking Yarde in some of these rounds. Now, at the end of the fight, I had this 95-94 for Yarde. 95-94. The 10-8 won it for Yarde for me. But if you were to say to me that VILCANS won this fight, I haven't really got a lot of argument with you. I'm making this video, 10 minutes after I watched the fight, before the next one comes on, basically. And that was my impression of the fight. VILCANS, inferior in virtually every department, and yet he outworked Yarde, who was kind of asleep, to be honest with you. And okay, Yarde has been out for a little while, not as long as you might think. And he was shaking off some rust, I suppose, and he's had all these issues with promotion, with leaving Queensberry and possible litigation with Frank Warren. But, he did fight this year. He fought back in February this year. He had a little 3-round knockover job. So it's not like he's been out for like 2 years or something. And in the post-fight interview, he said, look, maybe you fight up to the level of your opponent, which is a point, I suppose. To be honest, VILCANS came in and surprised everyone. No one had really seen him. No one knew much about him. He's 30 now. I hope he's invited back because this guy can fight a little bit. And he will give any light heavy. And if you're going to think of Yarde as a world-class light heavy, okay, fair enough. I don't think he's ever beaten a world-class opponent. I think he's fought 2 and got knocked out by both of them. Probably his best win is Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon's probably a good European level fighter. And guess what? So is RALFS VILCANS. So yeah, go Latvia. I'm glad about it. I'm actually quite glad he did well because I really do love Riga so much. So I'm like, yeah, go on Latvia. But Yarde, there is obviously talk of Yarde facing Buatsi. Buatsi's coming off a very good win over Willie Hutchinson. Hutchinson showed a ton of guts to hang on to the final bell, but Yarde had him on the floor from body punches. I'll tell you what, if this version of Boazzi, sorry, had Hutchinson on the floor. If this version of Yarde turns up against Boazzi, it's all over. Boazzi will kill him. Because Yarde is just not using his attributes. He's not using his athleticism. He wasn't using his skills. It's like in the final round, was it, or the penultimate round? He was started jabbing. I think it was the last round. Jabbing, firing the right hand, boom, 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 using the skills. Suddenly, Vilcans was all at sea, and he was knackered, and he didn't really know what to do. He's just been outboxed, and if you do that, the knockout will come naturally. You never try to force a knockout. So yeah. I mean, well done to Vilcans. I thought if it weren't for the knockdown, I'd have given him a draw. But Yarde moves on. He'll probably have the big fight with Boazzi. We'll see how that goes. Yarde's talking about eventually being a world champ when the belts go up in the air. When Beterbiev and Bivol have finished with their rematch, their possible rematch, that the belts might go up in the air, and Yarde reckons he's going to pick one up. We'll see. So what did you think of this fight? What do you think about Yarde? Who do you think won the fight? And if you think Yarde won, by how many rounds? Tell me how wide you thought the decision should have been. It was 78-72, 8-2 in rounds to Yarde. Did not agree with that at all. That was from the referee. But let me know. Anyway, thank you for your time. I'm going to say now, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please do it, because it costs you nothing and takes a second, and you really are helping the channel out. And also, please hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate that a great deal. Thanks for your time. And we've got the big one to come, Adam Azim versus Hara Davies. That should be fun. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.